3461. When requesting weather information for the following morning, a pilot should request A. An Outlook briefing. B. A standard briefing. C. An abbreviated briefing. The correct answer is A. When a pilot requests weather information for the following morning, they should ask for an Outlook briefing. An Outlook briefing provides weather information beyond the immediate planning period, typically covering a period of several hours or even days in advance. During an Outlook briefing, the pilot can receive forecasts and relevant weather information for the proposed departure time, en route portion, and arrival time of their flight. This includes details about weather systems, frontal movements, significant weather phenomena, and other relevant factors that may impact the flight. Requesting an Outlook briefing allows the pilot to obtain a comprehensive understanding of the expected weather conditions and trends for the following morning. It helps the pilot plan the flight effectively, taking into account potential weather hazards and making informed decisions regarding the route, timing, and any necessary adjustments. By requesting an Outlook briefing, pilots can stay well informed about the weather conditions that may affect their flight and ensure a safe and efficient journey. 3526. What should pilots state initially when telephoning flight service for pre-flight weather information? A. The intended route of flight radio frequencies. B. The address of the pilot in command. C. The intended route of flight and destination. The correct answer is C. When telephoning flight service for pre-flight weather information, pilots should initially state the intended route of flight and the destination. This allows the flight service specialist to provide relevant weather information specific to the planned route and destination. By providing the intended route of flight, the specialist can take into account the current and forecasted weather conditions along that route, including any significant weather phenomena or hazards that may affect the flight. This information is crucial for pilots to make informed decisions regarding route selection, potential diversions, or changes in departure or arrival times. Additionally, stating the destination helps the specialist provide weather information specific to that location, such as current weather conditions, forecasts, and any special considerations or local weather patterns that may be relevant for landing and departing from that airport. By communicating the intended route of flight and destination, pilots can receive a tailored weather briefing that takes into account the specific areas they will be flying through and the conditions they may encounter along the way. This allows for better flight planning, increased situational awareness, and ultimately contributes to flight safety. 3527. What should pilots state initially when telephoning flight service for pre-flight weather information? A. Tell the number of occupants on board. B. Identify themselves as pilots. C. State their total flight time. The correct answer is B. When telephoning flight service for pre-flight weather information, pilots should initially identify themselves as pilots. This is important to establish their credibility as aviation professionals and ensure that the information and services provided are tailored to their needs as pilots. By identifying themselves as pilots, the flight service specialist can understand that the caller has the necessary knowledge and understanding of aviation weather concepts and terminology. This allows the specialist to provide a more detailed and accurate briefing, using the appropriate language and level of detail expected by pilots. Furthermore, identifying as a pilot helps establish a professional communication channel between the pilot and the specialist. It allows for a more efficient exchange of information, as the specialist can assume that the pilot is familiar with the standard procedures and expectations when requesting pre-flight weather information. While providing other details such as the number of occupants on board or total flight time may be relevant in other contexts, the initial identification as a pilot is the most crucial information when contacting flight service for pre-flight weather information. 3528. When telephoning flight service for pre-flight weather information, pilots should state A. The aircraft identification or the pilot's name. B. True airspeed. C. Fuel on board. The correct answer is A. When telephoning flight service for pre-flight weather information, pilots should state the aircraft identification or the pilot's name. This is important because it helps the flight service specialist identify and track the specific flight for which the weather information is being requested. By providing the aircraft identification or the pilot's name, the specialist can access the relevant flight plan and associated information, ensuring that the weather briefing is tailored to the specific flight. This includes considering the aircraft's performance capabilities, route of flight, and any specific considerations or requests the pilot may have. Furthermore, stating the aircraft identification or pilot's name allows for accurate communication and coordination between the pilot and flight service. It helps establish a clear and reliable channel of communication, ensuring that the weather information is provided to the correct individual or aircraft. While true airspeed and fuel on board are important factors for flight planning and management, they are not the primary information to state when initially contacting flight service for pre-flight weather information. The aircraft identification or pilot's name takes precedence to establish the context and ensure accurate and personalized weather information is provided. 3528-1. When speaking to a flight service specialist to obtain a weather briefing, you should state A. The pilot in command's full name and address. B. A summary of your qualifications. C. Whether the flight is VFR or IFR. The correct answer is C. When speaking to a flight service specialist to obtain a weather briefing, you should state whether the flight is VFR, visual flight rules, or IFR, instrument flight rules. This information is crucial for the specialist to provide you with appropriate and relevant weather information based on the type of flight you are planning, and IFR flights have different weather requirements and considerations. For VFR flights, pilots rely on visual references and need to ensure good visibility and cloud clearance. On the other hand, IFR flights operate primarily based on instruments and require accurate information about cloud ceilings, visibility, and other relevant weather conditions. By stating whether your flight is VFR or IFR, the flight service specialist can tailor the weather briefing to address the specific needs and requirements of your flight. They can provide you with information on visibility, cloud cover, turbulence, icing, and other factors that are important for your type of flight. While it's important to provide accurate and relevant information to the specialist, stating the pilot in command's full name and address or a summary of your qualifications is not necessary for obtaining a weather briefing. The focus should be on providing the essential information related to the flight category, VFR or IFR, to ensure you receive the appropriate weather information for your planning and decision-making.